What's up, bro?
What's up, bro?
And welcome everybody to the show. This is Películas with the Bros. My name is Adrian.
My name is Ivan.
And Películas with the Bros is a show where me and my brother Ivan discuss a movie. Every week we discuss a new movie. Ivan, what's the movie of the week?
Beau is afraid.
Beau is Afraid, directed by Ari Aster. But before we get into that, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Like I said, this is a podcast. We're on YouTube. We're on podcast platforms. So if you like to listen to podcasts, look us up, Películas with the Bros. And leave a review, leave a like, hit the subscribe button. Also, we're on YouTube, so if you're not there, go to youtube.com, look us up, Películas with the Bros. Every week we do a new podcast. We would greatly appreciate if you subscribe. And let us know what you think about Beau is Afraid.
Yeah.
Why not,
That's
right?
a good point.
That's a good point. Like, you're there, you might as well do it.
Just tell us. Tell us. Tell us.
Tell us.
Tell us.
Tell us.
Tell us.
You know when you just get lazy and don't want
Just
to say the word?
Combine everything together.
I love it. Ivan, before we get into Beau is Afraid, lasting thoughts on how to blow up a pipeline. Yeah.
Truly.
Yeah, it wasn't that bad.
I mean, I wish it sucked. It didn't suck, but like, what a waste of time.
Well, you know the other movie that I was thinking about was Renford, was it?
Yeah.
Renfield?
Yeah.
And I heard the reviews weren't that good, so I was like,
It looked bad, but in a good way. Apparently, maybe it was just bad.
Yeah.
Whatever.
But for this week, Beau is Afraid, written and directed by Ari Aster. The premise of this movie, Ivan, is Beau is a middle-aged man with life-crippling anxiety. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? He is afraid of everything: life, sex, his neighborhood, and even his mother. His plan to visit his mother gets derailed after a series of unfortunate events. Shout out Lemony Snicket. Did you ever read those books?
Oh, no.
Did you say hell no?
Yeah.
Wow. And now he must find a way to get to his mom by any means necessary. Ivan, with the cast of Joaquin Phoenix as Beau, Patti LuPone as Mona, Beau's mom, Amy Ryan as Grace, Nathan Lane as Roger, Kylie Rogers as Tony, blah, 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 blah. Ivan, let's just get into it. Ari Aster.
It's my relationship. Great question. Well, I saw Hereditary. I thought it was pretty good. Saw Midsommar. Liked it even more. So I'm ready for this.
Well, there you have it, people. Ivan, those two movies, Hereditary, Midsommar.
Yeah.
Probably my two favorite horror movies of the past. I mean, not including Get Out, of the past 10 years.
Sure.
Right? Hereditary, just like a movie that looks like it's just a plain old scary movie.
Watch it.
Footies. But then turns into like a psychological mind freak.
Yes.
And then Midsommar, just the eeriest movie of all time. I should say of all time, but I'm exaggerating.
Yeah.
And it's a movie that I've always wanted to rewatch, Midsommar, but I have to be in the right mind state because it's like I see it all the time on Amazon Prime. And I'm like, I just can't right now. I can't do it. But
I want to watch that in the morning. Like, wake up,
oh,
Midsommar, just start my day with that.
yeah,
Like on a day off sort of thing.
that sounds like a good idea. Just like a glass of OJ, some eggs, and Midsommar.
A little breakfast burrito, a little brekkie burrito,
Yeah, break a burrito, eggies, Greggy the egg.
a little coffee.
Ari Aster, though.
Yeah.
What he's able to do in those two movies, from a relatively unknown person to where he is now, he basically started from the bottom. Now he's here, type of thing, you know?
Yeah.
Two movies that made a lot of money for A24, critically acclaimed, and now it seems like it's his turn to turn in his like magnum opus.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure if this movie would be he would consider it his magnum opus. We'll get into that. But legitimately, two first movies are classics. Would you say classics?
Light classic.
Like classic?
I think classic is like Jaws. This isn't Jaws.
Right. But okay, horror classic?
I think that's like
Indie classic.
auteur classic.
Moving on. How the Sausage Was Made. Ivan, this movie, it's Ari Aster made a short in 2011 called Beau. Has not the same premise, but like similarities. But he's been wanting to make this movie for a while. he thought of it as more of an episodic movie at first.
Hmm.
In leading up to this, he described it as Jewish Lord of the Rings, which I think is like tongue in cheek.
Nice.
Dan Klaus, the famous cartoonist, has a book called Eight Ball, and this movie is influenced by that comic book.
Okay.
To whoever cares about that kind of thing. And lastly, A24 is the studio behind this film, like his other films, but it's their most expensive film to date.
How much?
I think it's 40 mil.
Some change.
And then you think about the movies that they've made that have been either popular or very good. You have, I guess there is none. Just kidding. You have Midsommar, you have Hereditary, but you also have your favorite movie of all time that came out last
Everything
year.
Everywhere All at Once.
Right. So you have all these movies that are doing well, but this movie, out of all the directors that A24 has made, worked with, this one is the biggest, baddest of them all. What does that kind of say about
Trust, faith, discipline, modesty, seduction.
God? It seems like Aster is highly regarded.
Yeah.
Should he be?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's different. He's himself.
Yes. And I think this movie kind of shows it. Ivan, your relationship to Beau is Afraid. How long has it been? How good has it been? I hope it's a good question.
First off, great question.
Thank you.
What
I should say, what were you expecting from Beau is Afraid?
Not a fun romp for all ages. I'll say that.
Shout out to our longtime listeners.
Yeah. I don't know. It looked different enough. Like each movie, I feel like of his, even though it's like on the same similar horror aesthetic, like in the backdrop, not really in your face horror besides Hereditary. But it looked different.
Yes.
But with his voice still, you know?
Yes.
So I was just expecting more of that.
Yeah. Were you expecting a great movie, a good movie, okay movie, or just like something different?
Great.
Great.
He picks.
I was expecting something great too.
What?
After seeing it, Ivan, what'd you think about Beau is Afraid?
It's good.
Whoa.
It's good. Come on. Be real.
Shout out to Cypress Hill. You said last week you said be real, and I said Cypress Hill, and you're like, what the hell are you talking about? Ivan, I didn't like this movie. Yeah, I didn't like it. I was confused.
About?
Kind of like the purpose of us sitting through a 3-hour movie watching this story.
Mm-hmm.
And I should say I was confused while watching it.
Mm-hmm.
After watching it, I wasn't confused, but I was still kind of like bewildered.
Huh?
And it gave me Lynch vibes.
Okay.
And for that reason, I'm kind of surprised you thought it was good.
Maybe if I rewatched Lynch, I like him more just because maybe I'd pick up more on like the metaphors and things he tries to do.
Uh-huh.
But also, like, I remember I saw, this is like tangent,
Yeah.
a breakdown of like a VFX thing he did, and it was like
Who?
Lynch.
Okay.
It was like some orb floating. I think it was in Twin Peaks, like orb floating and then like evaporating or something. And these guys, it was a YouTube video. These guys kind of like dissected it, and they were saying like objectively, this was like
Keep going.
objectively this was like horribly made CGI.
Yes.
And they said, well, it doesn't make sense for it to look that bad, knowing like what Lynch can do and is capable of. So it was like hypothesized that it was intentionally made to look horribly, horribly bad. Like it was a sphere, but it looked like it didn't even exist.
Yeah.
In like
the realm.
Like if there's a floating sphere here, it was like a 2D sort of sphere, and they're just dissecting it, and they're like, he probably did on purpose.
And that left you thinking what?
That what was the initial.
That
Let me connect it.
that you don't like Lynch.
Oh, maybe if I rewatched it, I'd see like that ball now and be like, oh, I get it in a different way. Whereas if I saw it the first time, I would be like, this guy is kind of a hack.
Right.
I think it's going back to like intentionally doing it bad versus sucking. I don't think any of this movie was like, there's intentionally bad parts a lot of the time, but intentional.
Right. Yeah. I think everything that Ari puts in this movie is intentional, whether it's good or bad. It's just like very intentional. The whole movie, like he is, for lack of a better word, and that's a word we use all the time, an auteur. We need like a shirt, like one of our first shirts should be like, he's an auteur, or like, everyone is an auteur, or something like that.
Auteur, like just the point. Auteur.
Yeah. That being said, this movie's 3 hours long.
Yeah.
I napped.
Oh no!
So I took my wife and I took my beautiful baby daughter to.
You took her to see this?
Yeah, my 5-week-old baby daughter. I took her to see this.
Yeah.
She was napping the whole time, but the bad thing about taking kids to movie theaters, especially when they're that young, it's like we sit at the very end on the very corner to not disturb anyone, just in case, and that takes me out of the experience. And like half of the time, or like a third of the time, I'm like making sure the baby's okay, you know? That being said, I don't think that's the reason why I napped. I napped because it was a 3-hour movie and there was no hit to the face that I needed to wake me up, you know?
Right.
And I napped during, I think probably from what I hear, one of the better sections, which is the animated sequence.
Yeah. Come on.
And my wife was like,
you missed it. There was a cartoon in the middle.
Your favorite. You love cartoons, Adrian. No, she was like, are you sleeping? I'm like, no. And then I fell asleep again. It's like, if you go to sleep again, we're leaving right now. I'm like, okay, you're right. Because like, you shouldn't be watching this. And I brought you here. Anyways, it also gave me like, I didn't feel any emotion towards anything in the movie, like towards the characters and all that. And it gave me the same kind of vibe that Licorice Pizza did.
Okay.
I'm just realizing this too about Licorice Pizza, where the whole movie is kind of just like mundane in a way. And that doesn't mean it's a bad movie. It felt like you're cruising, you know? Like there's
slice of life.
Yeah, slice of life, but at the same time it's like, it's not impactful, and not all movies are meant to be like that. I get it's his vision, but whatever. Our character, Beau, though, the story, like if you can give like maybe a 1 or 2 sentence synopsis of what this guy's going through, I would greatly appreciate that.
An abused man comes to terms with his abuse.
His abuser.
Sure, and abuser.
So that's a great way to simply put it. But at the end, without giving any spoilers, and we could get into spoilers later, like, is there any relief from that? Is there any like positive outcome?
No. I think no, but I think that was the point. Like at a point, if you're that abused, you're kind of messed up for the rest of your life.
Yes.
Like there's most likely no way out.
Correct. And that feeling of abuse, I feel like the intention Astor was trying to do is like make the audience feel it, intentionally making you feel awkward at times.
Yeah.
Alienating. Like the character's very alienated, and I think at the end of the movie, he's trying to alienate the audience by making them feel like, geez, like that was a downer.
He was I think he was making fun of us too, for like at the end scene with the audience being there.
Yeah.
I think he's just like, you're just watching this man get abused without doing anything. And I think it's just more like, not the movie, but in life generally, like you see all these people with issues, and you're like, click. Same thing as
or
like,
just like
nope.
watching.
Yeah, like just the guilt of a bystander, or the what's
That's
the
a
word?
good point. I didn't see it
Culpability.
that way. Uh huh.
I guess.
And so the abuser in this movie is mother,
Mommy
dearest.
dearest.
Mommy. Remember that scene in Family Guy? Mama, mommy.
That formed me. That formed me, Adrian.
It's like Bane. You think?
Yeah.
What is it?
Uh,
You think you know dark or what?
so I was formed in it, molded by it, or something like that.
So in your way,
Family Guy.
the Family Guy scene of mommy's like I was molded by it.
Yeah.
So weird. Beau has mommy issues.
Mm.
Beau's afraid of his mommy. He's abused by his mommy, physically.
I think it's just emotionally.
Emotionally. Interesting. So much so that he becomes this neurotic, basically feeble man. In his middle age.
Yeah.
Do you have a bad relationship with your mama?
I don't think so.
Yeah, me neither. And do you think that takes away from this movie? That the inability to understand that, or do you understand it enough to enjoy the movie?
I think I understand it enough. Like, not to throw anyone under the bus, but I think like it's a spectrum of abuse.
I would hope you'd say like specific names now.
Mother. Like, his is obviously like the worst case sort of scenario, or not even. I mean, there's obviously worse, but his is pretty bad case. But I'd imagine like if the mother was like a little lighter on every aspect of how she treated him, like it would lower, and there would just be like a lighter form of like emotional abuse where it wasn't so flagrant, or like just scenes where it was like, oh God, you shouldn't be saying this to your kid.
Right.
It would just be less of that. So I'm trying to say, like, in any like relationship, you could kind of see like, oh, there's this little bit that's a tiny bit toxic.
Yes.
And if you just blow that up, you could see like, oh, that's what someone can become. And that's like the mother in this movie.
Yeah. There's things that you can kind of like overlay your life experience on top of this movie.
It's just like a very exaggerated version. Not like it would never happen. It just, since it hasn't happened to me yet.
You haven't met La Toxica?
Yes.
Gotcha. Oh, you have?
Yes, I have not.
Oh. Also, like another thing that is kind of, how should I say it? We don't have mommy issues, and we're not Jewish.
Well, speak for yourself.
Oh, you're converting?
A lot of people think I'm Jewish.
Really?
Yeah.
I can kind of see it.
I'm like, how dare you? And they're like, what?
That's kind of racist too.
Yeah.
How dare you?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
It's funny.
That kind of threw me off. Jewish.
Sometimes I say no, I'm the opposite, and I say German.
Dang. But that doesn't even logically doesn't make sense.
I think historically it makes sense.
Yeah, and I guess it's the same kind of question. Do you need to be a Jewish guy that has mommy issues?
I didn't even pick up any what's the
Judaism?
Judaistic vibes from this?
Judaism. Jewish vibes.
Sure. I didn't know.
Well, that's kind of good, but I think also if you are Jewish, you can feel it, you know?
Oh. I guess.
But I think that's kind of like in a way, the genius of the movie too. Like, you don't need to be, but if you know, you
Universal.
know. Yeah. Joaquin Phoenix playing Beau. What do you think about his performance in this?
He was Beau for sure.
Definitely Beau.
Like when partway through, I was like thinking of his roles, and I think the most like polar opposite of this was Gladiator, when he was that emperor or something.
Yeah.
It's just crazy, like the range from absolute feeble, nice person, sad, depressed, to like emperor with huge ego, and you believe both easily.
And now he's gonna play Napoleon.
And he does Joker, and all his other movies. He's crazy.
I feel like it's interesting that you say range though, because like I see, like for example, Joker, the character he plays in Her, the character he plays in The Master, and this movie. I feel them all like in a same zone
Yeah.
with like
Hey,
pecu-
emotional range
yes,
is better
Yeah.
because I think he plays himself, but like, not one for one. Just like he puts his personality onto the character, not like, oh, I'm Joaquin Phoenix, I'm gonna pretend to be this. Like, no, like I'll combine it both, so it's like me merging with this, and then he just gets there emotional.
Jeez. You got issues with that mic, don't you?
A little bit.
You saw Walk Hard, right?
Oh yeah, that one was good too.
Right. I think that's a bigger range, right? Because he's like a rock star. He's Johnny Cash.
Well, yeah, but like at the start, he was a little feeble. Like he had that like, but you could watch on YouTube like a scene where he's playing at Folsom Prison, and he's there. It's like, like that deep voice, and he's super confident, and it's like that's Johnny Cash right there.
Right. For me, in this movie, Phoenix, I mean, I don't think it's just for me too. Like, Beau is he just gets pounded into the dirt, you know?
That's funny.
And I would want, like, our character to have more dynamicism.
I don't think that's a word.
Dynamism? Let me try one more time.
Dynamic.
No. It's there.
I don't know. I don't think dynamicism or dynamicism.
Dynamicism.
I don't think.
I want our character to be a little bit more dynamic.
There we go.
Okay. And for him to be just like, oh, hell, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like the whole time, it was a little irritating, but
yeah,
I know it's like the intention.
yeah.
What is it called? Tastes. Tastes. This movie was funny though at times.
Spookily
You
funny.
too?
Spookily sounds funny though.
Yeah, it does. I like that word.
Spookily.
I love when he finds out, spoilers, that his mom probably died.
What? Oh, okay, yeah.
And he calls his mom and UPS guy,
Bill Hader.
Played by Bill Hader.
So random. I was like, what the heck?
And he's like, I think I delivered this package here, and I think this person's dead. And then he's like, call me back. Maybe you call the number back. You probably called the wrong number. Calls back. He's like, I'm sorry, dude. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. Was your theater packed?
Mine
was like a third. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
More than
La
I've
Jolla.
seen in a while. Yeah.
What if we were there at the same time?
Hey,
I know you. What other scenes were you thought were funny?
whenever that military guy, the veteran,
Yeah.
and just like the expressions he had, I was like looking at him,
Yeah.
or just standing when they're having he was on the phone and he just in the back doing his stuff. All of that was great.
He was so creepy.
Yeah.
I thought like every time he came, I'm like, this guy's gonna kill someone.
Yeah.
Horror scenes were jarring in this. It's funny because like we kind of skipped over this, but this movie really isn't a horror, and it's Ari's first movie that isn't straight up horror.
Mm.
What would you consider this movie? Like a dark comedy, or like a dramatic movie with
I don't know.
comedic tones over it?
Like a horror comedy blend, even though that is. Well, that's not dark comedy. I think just horror comedy. Horror comedy.
More on the. You think it's horror though? Like there's no like fright scares.
But like when that girl drank paint and then they just showed a shot of her being dead, I was
Yeah.
like, Jesus Christ.
That was freaking. I mean, only Asher can do something
Yeah,
like that. But
like that felt kind of scary. Not in like, but just like, dang, that's kind of insane to see like the mother be there and like have the paint just splattered on her.
Yeah.
Like that was, like if that was in some serious movie, that would have been like Oscar nominated scene.
But I think that's like Astor's signature, right? Like having these shots that are just like freaking stay in your brain and haunt
Yeah.
you. Even though they're not frights, they're more like demented things that will never leave your
Yeah.
head. But even like how much of the movie is scary? I would say like 5%.
You could say all of it. Like
Oh, that's a good point.
being him, that was just Beau's afraid. Like he's scared the whole time. Like I think if you really just like focus on Beau's emotions and like really kind of be with them, you're scared the whole time.
Yeah.
But also like you can't really do that the whole time. Like I'm just watching a movie at a point.
Yeah, I wonder like if I sat closer to the front row without my lovely daughter and lovely wife, if I just went alone, could I really like tune into Beau and get truly afraid in this movie? Like be like spooked out, like have that eerie feeling that I didn't feel at all while going this first time. I wonder.
It's just it's a very unique movie where like there's funny moments, but he puts like that Pink girl dying, but like it's like the contrast between like super funny and then Jesus Christ, this is like the most painful thing I could ever see at the same, like right next to each other.
With a human-sized dick monster.
Yeah. Yes. It's crazy.
One horror scene that I just want to mention before moving on, when they show like the flashback of like what happens after Beau got hit by a car, and it's the naked man just stabbing him in the hands.
Yeah.
And like,
Yeah. It's like, what?
What? I mentioned earlier that this movie is influenced by a cartoonist called Dan Klaus. And while I was watching this, I don't know if I heard it before, but I had this feeling. I'm like, this movie reminds me of a Klaus graphic novel, because in his graphic novels, it's very like things are kind of like mysterious. It's supposed to be real life, but you can tell there's something odd going on in the background.
Okay.
And for the same reason, I felt like that's where I got the Lynch vibes, where it's like you don't know if we're in reality or not. And that's also why I thought you didn't like it. You weren't gonna like it because you famously said,
well, yeah.
I don't like things where they
Look,
have like
let
supernatural.
me break it down.
Break it down. That should be like our new segment or something. Let's break it down.
Could work. I didn't like how Lynch did it because it felt like it was real from the start. And then like the magic came in. I was like, wait, so magic exists in this world? So like I didn't know if it was like, maybe now if I rewatched it, like I guess it's like surreal metaphor. It's not actual magic.
Yes.
But also like the detective kind of used magic to solve cases in a way. Like he relied on it. So I was like, I think it can't be a metaphor if it's
Twin Peaks.
Yeah. What did I say?
You just didn't mention what it was.
It can't be a metaphor if it's actually happening. I mean, like I guess it also could be, but if it's actually happening, then it's just magic. And I couldn't understand, like I didn't get the magic system, I guess, is simply put. But from the start of this movie, it already felt like outside of our reality, with like his house outside the street, just like
post-apocalyptic.
Yeah. So from there I was like, okay, this isn't real.
Right.
This is some metaphor or whatever. So
that's a good point. He does a better job of blending the reality and the surreality of this movie.
Sure.
I like that word. Sounds like surreal.
Spookily surreality.
And
I don't want to say it. I don't remember.
Dynamicism.
Yeah.
Weirdest scenes. I've already mentioned the monster dick in the attic, which was like, what? And like the idea that that's his father. It's just like he's really going for it. Like he doesn't care what the audience think. Aster doesn't care about anything. He's just like, I think this would be interesting.
Yeah.
And for that reason, I applaud him, but for no other reason, because I didn't like it.
Yeah. I mean, what I guessed is that like someone who's abused like that is kind of irrational. Like there's no rationality to like being so afraid of people.
Yes.
So like the whole movie's just and like what he's going through in his mind. Like he learns the truth about his dad, but for him it's like seeing this giant dick monster where it's like super huge and it just blows his mind and it freaks him out. And I'd imagine if it happened to somebody in real life, they'd also be like, what the, like, this is shattering my world. Like,
Yeah.
I'm freaking out. And it's like, if you put it like side by side, they would have the same reaction. But with Ari Aster, it's like, now you could visualize. Like, if you saw that in real life, I think I would also freak out like that.
Yeah. I hope so.
Yeah. Like, oh,
Oh, that's
interesting.
Yeah. Another weird scene. Any other weird scenes? Paint guzzling. Always Be My Baby, Mariah Carey.
When was that? The funeral?
The sex scene.
Oh, that was funny. I was like, am I just watching this? It reminded me of Blonde when it was like so like
Oh yeah.
graphic, but I saw that at home, so it's a little like less like.
Right.
Should I be? But this is like,
Cutie Punker. What's up, man?
you guys seeing this? So at the theater, I was like, all right, I guess I'm just watching this. It was pretty silent. I think everyone was like, what? At the same time.
Yeah. And like that, I mean, that was weird enough, but like what happens after, like with
Yeah.
that character, I'm like, what?
Yeah, it kept going more like, what? And they kept like stacking onto like the what's. And the mom was alive. I was like, what?
And then like it's culminated with like the dick monster.
Yeah.
And then like with the stadium.
Yeah.
Weirdness. I do like the foster parents.
Oh,
Like,
I thought there would be more from that. Like, I didn't really understand what when she said like you're incriminating yourself.
yeah,
I didn't get that.
because it's just the mom paid them to do that,
Oh, okay,
right?
yeah. I guess it was just weird to think of a mom paying for all this.
Yeah.
Like that was so much.
Yeah.
But another exaggeration.
What's her business that she's so rich that she can afford all this?
Wasn't it like pharmaceuticals or something?
I thought it was like an ad company because like he's in all the ads,
But it was for like medicine.
Yeah, maybe it is.
I think it was because like there's a lot of pill talk, like
Right.
with the family, like take your pills, you'll feel better, and stuff.
And he's like in a
therapy with the pill,
and the apartment is like funded by that
Yeah.
company, whatever.
pharmaceutical.
Kind of confusing. I was gonna say something. Oh, the I don't know, that foster parent, the dad. What is
Like-
he in? Like he's in like a bunch of movies.
Mousetrap.
Right, but like there's like a Disney voice that he does, isn't it?
Oh, let me visualize his voice and then attach it to the character in my library.
I'm getting like Ratatouille, but not Ratatouille. Like maybe it's a rat, so thinking
I
Mousetrap.
don't know.
But he has that voice that just like
Yeah.
you gotta love that voice. He's
He'll-
like, hey,
yeah.
buddy. I don't know how to describe it. Who knows? Blank check. This concept of a blank check. Shout out to the Blank Check podcast. They're probably not listening, so who gives a crap? But
Wink.
they make a podcast where they pick a director and they're like, this director can make any movie because they made this one super successful movie, and now they have a blank check to do whatever movie they want.
Okay.
I think this is Ari's blank check movie, where
Yeah.
like he made 2 great movies and they're like, you can do whatever you want. And I don't think this movie's gonna do too well, and it's probably not gonna make its money.
I think
Back.
it could.
It
Like,
could,
My
but-
theater was filled more than I've ever seen.
Really?
Yeah. I think Mario movie was the last one I was like, oh, this is pretty filled. And I think this was more filled than Mario
Interesting.
for me.
Well, that being said, this idea of like, do whatever you want, completely not regarding the audience. Like he doesn't really care what the audience feels in a way. It also gave me that idea of like Babylon, where like Chazelle just like went for it and did like his magnum opus.
Yep.
And that movie similarly is definitely not going to make its money back. That movie cost like probably like $200 million for some reason. Interesting times.
I think it's just too long. 3 hours.
Correct.
Both of those, it's like, I think it's like that simple. Like, do I want to watch a 3-hour movie? No. Like, at a point, normies won't watch 3-hour movies.
And I love that idea of normies with this, because like, imagine a normal person going to see this movie.
Yes.
They would literally walk out halfway through.
I could see it.
And for good reason, because like, I'm not saying good reason like this movie's bad, but like good reason because a normie shouldn't watch this movie.
Yeah. Or should they?
Like, imagine you watch one movie. A normie watches one movie a month, maybe at the movie theaters.
Yeah.
Maybe. And this is the movie they pick, and they're like, "What the freak, man?"
I'm seeing this.
Like, they thought they were signing up for like a horror movie with Joaquin Phoenix, but they get this. Like, what a mind fuck.
Yeah.
I was listening to the podcast where they were saying that this movie is kind of like the opposite of our current culture, where like all of the movies that are popular now are popular because they're pandering to the culture, whether that's Super Mario Brothers, like Marvel movies,
but
DC
everything
movies.
everywhere wasn't pandering, and that was like
Sure,
sensational.
but that's like one out of every 50 movies, right?
Sure.
And this movie is just like the complete opposite of that, and that's an interesting take. Like, this movie is like anti algorithm, right? Like, if you like this movie and like that movie, there's nothing like this for that movie, unless like you like Lynch movies, I guess, or like surreal movies.
Yeah.
Would you watch this movie again?
Yeah. I think with time, now that I know like the mom's behind it, I want to see it that way.
Yeah, I want to watch it again. Just because I know I didn't watch it in the optimal viewing experience. You definitely need to be like in the right wavelength.
Yeah, I was ready.
What was like what'd you eat right before, or did you not eat?
I had a Caesar. No, I didn't. Oh yeah, I did. I had a Caesar salad with breaded chicken, little buffalo sauce.
You know, I've been eating way too much at the movie theaters.
Really?
Yeah, like I got nachos this time, but I got nachos and we brought in like sandwiches. So for like an hour I was eating.
You want some of this? The guy next to you.
Oh, good movie.
Spitting flex on him.
And I just think that's a little too much. Like, respect the movie.
I don't usually eat there.
I'm a nachos guy. I always get nachos.
I want to get popcorn, but then they're like, "You want to upgrade?" I'm like, "Not really. I don't want that conversation." So I don't get anything.
And when you're never gonna finish the whole bucket, right?
Yeah. And if I do, like, who am I? What have I become? You know?
A shit show, literally.
Yeah.
Because if I eat a whole bucket, I'm shitting it immediately.
I think it depends on the movie. Like,
Top Gun,
perfect. Popcorn.
Coke. You want to hear that?
A giant gunshot sounding click of a can opening.
Guys, we're not ready for this. Do you want to hear a review of Beau's Afraid from the incredible Richard Brody at New York Times? I mean, the New Yorker.
Sure.
Let's see. Actually, I'm not gonna do it.
You're not going to give him the platform. You're like, no, that's so soft. No.
Let me just give like one line then.
Okay.
Okay. Ari Aster's Oedipal. Oedipal. You know what Oedipal is?
Oedipus. Greek.
But you know what Oedipal is?
Like Oedipus.
Which is?
His story about him like marrying his mom, killing his dad.
Yeah, it's like mommy issues.
Yeah.
This Oedipal horror starring Joaquin Phoenix is filled with nervous wreckage and leaves the unsettling sense of having stumbled upon an extended therapy session rather than a film. Do you agree with that? It's a extended therapy session rather than a film? Like, is this a movie? Is this a film? Or is this just art? What is this?
I feel like art at its best is a form of therapy, where you could like really, oh, this speaks to me.
I
Like
haven't
a grow
dropping
from it.
knowledge right now, people, so pay attention.
This ain't a Marvel movie, bro.
That should be our headline for this.
This ain't a Marvel movie,
Beau's
bro.
afraid. This ain't a Marvel movie, bro.
Mhm.
Knuckle up.
Or bustle up.
Whatever that means.
Yeah.
Why do I have this? I have the should this movie exist?
A little cruel, don't you think?
It should exist. You just need to be the right type of person.
Hmm.
Ivan, let's rate this movie. Out of 5,
Pose.
no. Do better. Be a little bit more creative. Out of 5 monster dicks.
All right.
How many monster dicks is this?
I have 4.5.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
What would give it the 0.5?
If I liked it. Just kidding. I don't know. I think it would have to be. I just wanted more.
More? 3 hours? Not enough.
No,
Give me
I mean
5.
more like really go for it if he's like
More.
the grotesqueness.
Oh, like
Like don't hold
more
back.
Babylon.
Yeah.
Like just like bam, bam, bam.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And just don't let me breathe at all.
I would like that minus like an hour and a half. Just like an hour and a half of like, what the freak was this? Yeah.
I guess
How was the animated scene? I didn't watch it.
you missed out on the greatest piece of animation ever. It was good.
There you have
Did you read what it was afterwards?
it. No.
It was like a story about like him growing old and having a family and then having kids, and then he gets lost in the storm and he searches for them forever.
But what was the point of that?
I don't know. It was weird. Because
'Cause-
like at the end, he's like, did you see the part when he got reunited with his sons?
Yes.
And then the son's like, how'd you have us if you've never been with anyone? And he's like, and then they left. And then like,
And then that guy came, right?
yeah.
See, that's the thing. Like, this movie's like, fuck you, man.
Yeah.
This doesn't mean anything. But
Yeah.
That's kind of pretty cool.
Yeah.
Better than How to Blow Up a Pipeline. But that being said, I gave this the same rating as How to Blow Up a Pipeline. 3.5 monster dicks out of 5. I mean, if I watch this, I'm pretty sure I'll give it at least a 4. But I'm being honest, you know?
Yeah.
I napped.
Yeah.
I napped.
Hmm.
Ivan, what's the next movie?
I don't know.
Let's see. Movies coming
Guardians?
out. What?
Guardians?
No. Really? That'd be fun. We really need to watch Evil Dead Rise.
No, we don't.
I know you don't want to, but we gotta. Do we gotta? I guess we do. Let's see. AMC theaters. They're really like trying to hammer in that George Foreman movie.
Oh, I kind of want to watch that.
Oh my god, it looks so bad.
I don't know. I like his grill.
That's a good take. I like his grill. Wow, there's like really no movies coming out, huh? Oh, Return of the Jedi tomorrow
Not watching that.
in theaters though.
Not watching that. I don't know if I could.
What do you mean?
I might get out late.
Oh, I thought you meant like
Like-
emotionally.
I don't know if I'm ready.
Yeah, it looks like there's no The Covenant, Air.
Air. Let's
What?
do Air. It looks bad.
Yeah, it looks bad, huh? It just looks like so simple.
Yeah. I'm like, do you think they're gonna have CGI Michael Jordan?
No, I heard he's not in it at all.
Ah,
Ivan, Evil Dead Rise is an hour and 30 minutes. Don't you just want to get in and get out?
no, I don't want to get in at all.
The Pope's Exorcist. That movie is like, what the freak are we doing right now?
Watch Avatar again.
All right.
5 months after release.
We'll decide off air, but doesn't look like there's a big movie. The movie after next week is Guardians 3. You want to give a quick 5 what is it? 5 out of 5?
I think 4.25.
I'll be happy with that. Ivan, it's time for a section called
Things and such.
moment of silence for the man, the myth, the legend, Harry Belafonte, who passed away.
And the guy who hosts that
Jerry
one.
Springer.
Yes.
All right, moving on. Ivan, Taiki Waititi's movie Next Goal Wins is gonna come out probably next time, sometime next year or this year. I don't know. Trailer came out. Excited? What's your opinion on
You
this?
know,
On our boy Waititi.
I don't know. I don't really trust him too much. I'm a little scared of this. It feels. I like Michael Fassbender, but
You saw the trailer?
yeah,
It wasn't funny at all.
not really. Like there's moments where like aha, aha,
Right.
aha. But there's a movie that came out like a month ago that's just this, but with Woody Harrelson, and he's like
Oh yeah.
basketball coaching
Yes.
people with Down syndrome. And it just feels so weird to have that, and then this movie come out.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I don't know, this something that doesn't feel right about this.
Yep. I don't feel good vibes. Who knows? I'm hoping he's like, I'm back, baby. But I don't feel it.
He feels like the type who got too cocky,
Yeah.
and he's like, I could do anything now.
Yeah.
I can spit in this movie, and people will love it.
Yeah.
People will love it.
And he would talk like that too.
Yeah,
Like, I'm the best.
yeah. Yeah.
Have you seen his interviews? It's kind of obnoxious.
I seen not too much,
Okay.
but I see it.
Don't. It's bad. Anything else news related? I could put this in here. Acid Rap, 10-year anniversary, and he's our boy Chance the Rapper is gonna have a concert. When that album came out, just like for all the young heads out there, it was kind of like revolutionary.
Sure.
And like his ability to have such a dynamic voice, it was truly like this guy's the next thing.
Yeah.
He just needs like good beats now. And like his beat selection was kind of odd, which made it good too.
Mm.
That was his peak.
Sad to see him now. He looks like. I feel like he just doesn't have it. Like I don't think it's him not having trauma anymore to delve into. I think it's just like he doesn't know how to access it anymore. Like the artistic part. He's just like, well, I know how to rap.
What if it's like, if I go into that zone, my marriage is over. You know what I mean?
I don't know. Then,
Like I'm not gonna do the right things in life.
well, but how bad like is he gonna like? Oh, I gotta go do drugs again after rapping this.
Oh,
Song.
I don't know if it's drugs or not, but yeah, that's true. Like I was listening to an interview with U2
Mm-hmm.
and Bono. He was
Mhm.
like, he's talking about like his other band members, and he said something like if that he said something that was very like deep, but if you
Mhm.
weren't listening correctly, you would miss it. And he was summarizing. He basically said like, we've been doing this for like 100 years now,
Mm-hmm.
and I want to keep doing it, and I want to keep doing it at like the best level that I can. And since we're in a band, it's hard to ask that from everyone.
Yeah.
And what that means for me is like so much sacrifice, and it's so much, like to ask our guitarist to be like, hey, we're going to go 100%.
Yeah. It's just tough. Like I've had moments where like I'm super into an idea, and then like other people, like I mentioned, they're like, oh yeah, not like going out or stuff like that, just
Yeah.
like a project or something.
Yes.
They're like, yeah, I'm down. And then like the time comes and I kind of like lay it out or something, or just make it more physical. And they're like, I guess I'll do it when I want to. Like they're not serious. They're not serious people.
Mm-hmm.
They're not killers. Succession. Watch it now.
It's like, but
Yeah, I'm not like, well, you're not serious. You're not real. It's like at a point, like no one's going to care about it. Like I'll care about it.
that's where like the superstars come out though, where like you need to be a Steve Jobs to be like,
Yeah.
oh, you're going to do it tomorrow? No, I'll kill your daughter if you don't do it right now.
Kill your dog.
Or more so, like they inspire people to actually care about it.
Yeah. Like that's what Steve Jobs was like super good about. But it's still tough because like you have to like keep that up, and you
Yeah.
have to also do your thing.
Yeah.
Like 2 jobs, you have to be that inspiration and then do
Yeah.
the work too.
It's like DJ Khaled, right?
Yeah.
Which is like a horrible thing to compare Steve Jobs to DJ Khaled, but like his whole thing is like he literally just like has so much energy that it gives other people energy.
It's probably what Kanye did, like in the studio with the people he was around. Like he was just pretty infectious. Of like, oh, that sounds amazing, and then like that just feeds off of everything.
Yeah.
Like he was just a mini Steve Jobs himself.
Don't say
Stuff
that.
he said.
He's gonna come back. He's like, I've been set out with Steve Jobs.
If he does that,
Jewish people suck.
I would be so happy. Not that last part, but you know,
Oh.
like just mention me.
Okay. Yeah, I'll be happy too for you.
Thank you.
And he's like, that other guy, cornball. Ivan, it's time for a section called "What's on the Telly."
Succession. Dun, ch, dun, ch, dun, ch. Do the other part. Dun, ch, dun, ch. It's coming up. Dun, ch, dun, ch.
I
Dude.
can't.
Okay.
Ah, man.
So good. Insanely good.
Yeah, I would say this is like as good as the death of Logan.
Yeah.
I would also say I hated this episode because I hate Madsen.
I love him.
No, I love how much I hate him.
I know.
now.
Yeah. I mean, I don't hate him at all. That's the thing.
Oh, okay.
I'm like, you kill these kids.
No, because I want the kids to win for some stupid reason.
Nah, I think
I'm just like, I'm a pony. I don't know what I mean.
I don't think, like, no, I just don't want them to win at all anymore.
Okay.
Maybe one of them just like a consolation prize sort of thing. Like, I guess you're CEO of a dead company, but Kendall, like, he wants to tear it down, like anarchist style, like kill it, which is kind of insane because people will probably die from what he's doing, just like job wise and things like that.
Right.
Roman, I don't know. There's like something else going on with him. Like, I think
He hasn't found his like trueness.
yeah, like he needs a purpose.
Yeah.
Like he's just kind of floating around with like whatever's the loudest voice. Shiv, I don't know.
She's the killer.
But I feel like she's gonna get destroyed.
Yeah, I do too.
Like, I think Mattsson's just gonna like at the end like, oh, I used you the whole time.
Yeah.
Like I just did this to get your brothers.
Madsen in this, he's like Skarsgård is just like batting 100 on this.
Insane and like so perfect. Everything he says, it's like, Jesus Christ.
His appearance, like when he first appears with the hood,
Yeah.
he's like, "What's up, guys?" He's just like so alpha,
Yeah.
like not giving a shit, and then like the way, like you said, the way he talks to them, he's just like owning them.
Yeah. He's so smart. Like insanely like understands exactly what they're doing and thinking
Yeah,
up until like Roman kills it at the end.
yeah,
Then he's like, okay, now I got to shift. Now I have to fight
yeah.
to prove a point, sort of thing.
But he's also he's not the smartest when it comes to women, because
I feel like that
Shiv
was,
has an upper hand in something with him.
but I think that was
Without
purposeful.
spoiling anything.
I think that was purposeful. Like, I think it actually happened, but I think he's exaggerating how bad it is, like, reputation wise to him. I feel like maybe they're on good terms, the girl and him, and he's just saying that to get like,
Some data.
no, to like connect with Shiv,
Yeah.
because you wouldn't like if giving Shiv that piece of information
Deadly.
kind of like links them together, and I think he knows that.
I don't know, because like the woman that Madsen is talking about, they do seem to have an icy relationship in that one scene.
Yeah, I think it's real. I just don't think it's. I think he knows how to survive the fallout from that coming out.
Right.
Like, and he knows it'll suck, but he's like, I can do it. I had to lose this chess piece to get like the rest of them, sort of thing.
The rest of the quad squad.
Greg was so ugly in this. He's like, the quad squad.
It's like, what's up, guys? The Roy Fort, what is it?
Yeah, the quadrangle or something weird like that.
And then she was like, the fuck?
Yeah. Like, what are you?
Yeah, Greg is just like getting lower and lower, but like he's still finding ways. That's the creepy thing.
Yeah, and it's funny to watch him like try to talk because they speak almost like a different language.
Yeah.
Like I was really like tuned into like I think it was last episode when they're on the plane. What's his face said? We're snakes on the plane.
Yes.
Like the whole conversation before that was just like metaphors and like not direct talking.
Who between them?
Everyone, they're like all using like
Yeah.
sayings and metaphors and not actually saying anything directly,
Yeah.
which is like insane to think.
But it makes sense.
Yeah.
It like the when an example of that I think is when like Kendall's like I think it was like 2 episodes ago when they're planning who's gonna take what. He's like, yeah, that plays the same old with the Vibe banner.
Yeah.
And like that doesn't there's
That's not
no
English.
yeah, there's no English in this
Yeah.
show, but it is. You just need to listen carefully.
Yeah. And you have to like, what does that mean? And like visualize it. It's tough.
Yeah.
But it's crazy.
And it's good. That's
Yeah.
why it's good.
Yep.
I have a feeling there's like something else that Kendall's doing though, because he's like so silent in everything. Like the way he looks at Mattson is just like utter silence sometimes, where Roman is the one that has to react, but he's reacting negatively. You know,
Yeah.
I don't know. There's something going on in the back of his head. Like he's gonna lay a master.
I don't know. I think he's just nuclear. Like he's so confident that he can tank this because he's like pretty good at destroying things.
The
So
one
he's
thing.
like, you know what? I'm gonna just go all out. And that's where his confidence is from. But I think Mattson's just gonna like let it happen, but also just destroy Kendall too, in a different way. That like he's like, oh, I didn't understand, sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't. I can't picture any of them surviving. Maybe Greg, just because he's a rat.
He's a cockroach.
Yeah.
One phrase that I'm gonna say is that I picked up from this show is IKEA to fuck.
You're gonna say that.
What?
You're gonna say that.
Yeah,
Okay.
but like something to fuck.
Yes.
So like, Mexican to fuck.
Okay. Good luck
Like, I'm
using
gonna-
this at work. Or
I'm gonna make steak, but Mexican to fuck.
all right.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how I'm gonna.
I'm
use
gonna
it.
use Tom's insult. Like it looks like you have barnacle meat on your earlobe. Like,
Yeah, that's a good one.
I like when he's like flick there.
Yeah,
They're like little kids.
yeah. I was like, dang, assault.
Yeah. It was funny.
Anything else for Succession?
No.
Excited for Sunday. I love Sundays because of this.
Should watch Barry too. Oh, Barry's a lot like Beau's Afraid with its comedy stylings. Like it's a lot of like, this is actually pretty horrific, but they frame it in a way where it's comedic. I think.
It's so funny because like I had an hour to kill the other day, and I keep seeing Barry, and I'm like, just not ready. And I guess what I picked instead. I think I picked like The Sandlot. And it's just like sometimes I don't have the mental capacity after a long day of working and a baby crying. And
I've been watching Hoarders for like those moments.
Hoarders?
Yeah.
Like just trash TV time?
Listen, if you watch like even the first episode on Netflix, it feels like a very high-end HBO parody.
But did you watch I heard about this
The
one.
Poop Girl?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it disgusting?
I haven't got to that yet, but I've seen like a lot of clips from it. It's pretty insane. But it's cool because it's not like stupid people doing stupid things. It's like they're normal people. They just have like these intense like
Mental illnesses?
yeah, that they like somewhat dig into. But it's clear like in a lot of them there's something else that like they're not even gonna touch. So it's cool for that aspect. And it's so weird to watch like the cast, I guess, interact with it all because they're all like fake-ish. They're like, I know you're going
Right.
through this, but
Right.
we're here for you. And
Yeah.
like, all right, move out. Next episode, sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's creepy and weird, but also entertaining.
Where do you watch that on?
It's Netflix.
Gotcha. Maybe
Just
I'll
watch
just.
like one episode.
I want to watch the poop one.
I watched 2 then.
What else are you watching?
I watched this a while ago. Not a while ago. Weeks ago. Fleabag.
The Great Fleabag.
Pretty perfect.
Yeah,
You watch?
I watched like the first 3 episodes.
It's short.
It is.
You should watch the rest.
I should. Amazon?
Yes. Season 2 is a lot better.
I heard.
Season 1's like, you're a little sick of her at points,
Yeah.
but it's really good. I
Yeah.
think probably like top 10 overall, like TV, like
Holy cow.
just
He's gonna-
objectively.
You're just going to come in and lay that on me? Yeah, it's something like, I don't know why sometimes I start watching these really good shows and I dip.
Yeah.
I need to be better.
Speaking of better,
Better Call Saul?
I finished Better Call Saul.
Why were you waiting?
Season 6 wasn't out on Netflix.
And it's out?
Yeah, I think last week, and I finished it.
Best show of all time?
Nah,
Oh.
not really. It's a lot more popcorny. Like, it's good, but it's it's like this is HBO level Succession, etc. with Mad Men linked onto there, and right below that it's probably like Breaking Bad. Better
Euphoria.
Call Saul. I think I have to watch Euphoria, but maybe around. I don't know. I have to watch it, but it's good. But there's a lot of. It's more entertainment versus like having it be like a precise creation.
Realistic, yes.
Yeah, they're like, how can we up this in a way? Like Breaking Bad was good, but it's a lot of like, all right, at this point, he probably should have died. Like, there's no way
Right.
he could have done this. It's still good. Like I would rewatch it at a point. Like I wouldn't. I'm not saying because I watched Mad Men, it's like, I can't watch this now.
Uh-huh.
It's just like a spectrum, like a little less.
What should I watch first? Breaking Bad? No, sorry. First, I should watch Better Call Saul. But Better Call Saul, Fleabag,
I think Fleabag.
Barry.
Do Barry just because it's coming out right now, so you could be with.
Will I finish? How long?
30-minute episodes each. They're like
Okay.
8 episodes,
Oh, I could do that.
maybe 10.
Okay, that's too much.
9? Let's negotiate.
All right. I think that's it, Ivan. Anything else for the beautiful people out there?
That's it, sir.
All right. We'll be back next week with another episode of Películas with the Bros. I don't know what movie it is, but stay tuned for that. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Peace out.
Bye.